Hi my dear kids, now we are going to see your next lesson. So, your next lesson is about soil. So, what is soil? Soil is the uppermost layer of the earth surface. So, it is the topmost layer of the earth surface that you can see, right? Yes. So, now this soil is very important for the plants to grow because the plants fix their roots in the soil only, right. So, with the help of soil only the plants get the nutrients from the soil, right. So, this soil is very important for the plants to grow, and also it is a home to many animals. So, many animals like earthworm, ant, rabbit, moles, rats. So, they also live inside the soil, right. So, the soil is very important. So, in this lesson we are going to see about what is soil, how the soil is formed, and soil profile, soil erosion and soil conservation. So, now we are going to see about soil formation and soil profile. So, first we will see how the soil is formed. So, soil is formed by the breaking of big rocks. So, this formation of soil takes millions of years. So, how many years? Millions of years. Millions of years. So, now how the soil is formed? Soil is formed by the breaking of big rocks. Earlier earth was full of rocks. So, the rocks is broken down into smaller particles and till it becomes powdery. So, it is formed. So, the rocks, the big rocks, so rocks are broken down. They are broken down into smaller particles and till it becomes powdery substances. So, it becomes soil. So, how this rocks has become soil? By the action of wind, water and sun. So, because of the heat of the sun and the pressure, so the rocks are broken down into smaller particles till a powder is formed, right. So, this process is called as weathering, W-E-A-T-H-E-R-I-N-G. So, what is weathering? They will ask in your 2 marks. Okay. So, you have to explain the big rocks are broken down into smaller particles by the action of wind, water and sun to form soil, right. So, this process is called as weathering. So, I hope you all are clear with what is weathering. So, weathering is breaking down of rocks, bigger rocks into soil, into smaller particles by the action of wind, water and sun. So, because of this action the rocks are becoming into powdery substances called soil, right. This process is called weathering, right. So, now are you all clear with this? So, this soil is important for plant growth. So, the soil is important for plants to grow, and also the soil is home to many animals. So, the soil acts as a home or a house to many animals or insects, right. So, like what are the insects or the animals? Earthworm live inside the soil, right, and then ants, termites and rats, moles, rabbit, R-A-B-B-I-T, rabbit, snake, S-N-A K-E. So, snake, rabbit, rats, moles, termites. Termites means karayan. So, ants, earthworm, manpulu. So, all these animals, they live inside the soil. They live inside the soil. The soil acts as a home to these animals. So, soil is important for plants as well as for some animals. So, it supports life on earth. So, soil supports life on the earth. So, now let us see what are these soil contents. So, what are the soil contents? So, soil contains components. So, we can say as components, C-O-M-P-O-N-E-N-T-S. So, components means what are the soil contains. So, the soil contains clay particles, clay, kalimannu they will say, sand particles, S-A-N-D, sand. They also have gravel, G-R-A-V-E-L. Gravel means smaller stones, like they will say no, Kurangal, like say very smaller particles. Kurangal means pebbles, but gravels will be very smaller pieces of rocks, smaller pieces of the stones. So, that is called as gravel, right. And also the air contains, the soil contains air. So, we can see some air is present inside the soil, and also soil contains water. Soil contains water, and soil also contains humus. So, what is this humus? Humus is a nutrient, important, it is very essential for the plants, because humus provides nutrients to the plants for growth. So, humus is a natural fertilizer. So, that is available in the soil. So, the remains of dead plants and animals. So, the remains of dead plants and animals is called humus. And also this soil also contains microorganisms. So, they also have microorganisms. What are the microorganisms? So, microorganisms like bacteria, B-A-C-T-E-R-I-A, bacteria, fungi. So, the soil also contains microorganisms like bacteria, fungi. So, these are all the components of soil. So, what does the soil contain? Clay, sand, gravel, air, water, humus, and also microorganisms like bacteria and fungi, right. So, these are all the components of soil. So, they may ask in your 2 mark or in your 5 mark also in creative questions. So, what are the components of soil? You have to write all these explanations, right. So, next we will see the soil formation. So, as I said, soil formation. So, soil formation, we saw how the soil is formed. Soil is formed by the breaking of big rocks into smaller particles. Yes. So, this process is called weathering. So, that we saw. Yes. Now, we are going to see soil profile. So, this soil profile is nothing but the layers of the soil. So, once we cut a portion of the soil which goes below the earth surface, right. So, once we cut the portion of the soil, we can divide the soil profile into 3 layers. So, first layer, second layer and third layer. The first layer, the top layer. So, the top layer is called topsoil, T-O-P-S-O-I-L. So, topsoil. So, topsoil is the layer which is present in the upper region, right. So, the uppermost layer of the soil is called topsoil. This topsoil contains clay, they also contain air, sand, water, humus. So, humus is the thing that provides nutrients for the plants to grow. So, this is the remains of, it is the remains of dead plants. So, remains of dead plants and animals. So, the remains of dead plants and animals, as the animals, dead plants and animals will have some nutrients, right. So, it may have some nutrients. So, this remains of dead plants and animals mixes along with the finer particles of the rocks. So, thus it become into humus. So, humus is the remains of dead plants and animals which is present in the soil. So, these things are present in the topsoil. So, this topsoil, as the topsoil contains this humus, where this humus is essential to the plants for growth. So, it essential for because it provides the nutrients to the plants. So, that is why this topsoil is the fertile layer. So, F-E-R-T-I-L-E. So, this is the fertile layer. So, this is the fertile layer. So, what is in your 1 marks they may ask, so which layer of soil is very fertile, or which layer of the soil is very fertile, they will ask. You have to write fertile, the fertile layer of the soil is topsoil. So, topsoil is the fertile layer of the soil. When we compared with the other layers, so the topsoil is the fertile layer, and here as the humus is present, water is present, air is present. So, we can see plants grow in this soil. So, plants grow in this soil. So, this is about your topsoil, right. So, are you clear with the topsoil? The topsoil contains clay, air, sand, water, humus. Here we can see plant grows in the topsoil, and topsoil is the fertile layer. Humus is the remains of the dead plants and animals present in the soil. Because of the humus, the topsoil is a fertile layer, and the topsoil is the uppermost layer of the soil. So, now we will see the second layer of the soil. So, the second layer of the soil is called subsoil, S-U-B-S-O-I-L. So, subsoil is the second layer of the soil. So, after the topsoil, if you go beneath the earth surface, we can see the subsoil. So, subsoil is the middle layer, it is the middle layer of the soil. So, middle layer, and here we can see little water only present. Here there is no much of air is present, we can see only little water. So, little water and humus. So, there is only little water and humus. So, as there is little water and humus, some part of the root only will be fixed in the subsoil. So, we cannot see most of the roots in the subsoil. So, only little water and humus is present. We can see a little part of the roots of the trees will present in the subsoil, right. And also this subsoil has smaller pieces of rocks. So, they also have smaller pieces of rocks, R-O-C-K-S. So, when you want to write about the subsoil, you have to write it is the middle layer of the soil, it has little water, it has little humus, and it contains pieces of rocks. The pieces of rocks are present in the subsoil. So, next we will see about your third layer. The third layer is, so the third layer is bedrocks, B-E-D-R-O-C-K-S. So, this is the third layer. So, this is the third layer of the solid soil profile. So, this is the third layer. So, beneath the subsoil. So, beneath the subsoil, this is your subsoil and this is your topsoil, and this is your bedrocks. So, beneath the subsoil we can see the bedrocks. So, bedrocks, as it is the name bedrocks, it is full of rocks. So, large pieces of rocks, large pieces of rocks is present here, large pieces of rocks. So, we can find large pieces of rocks are present in the bedrocks, and here there is no water, no air or no humus is present in the bedrocks. So, when you want to write about bedrocks, the bedrock is the third layer of the soil. Beneath the subsoil, it contains large pieces of rocks and no water, air and humus is present here. So, it will be full of big rocks. As it is full of big rocks, so it does not have water or it does not have air or it does not have humus. So, the plants will not grow in this layer. So, this is about your soil profile. So, your soil profile they will ask in your 5 mark. So, what are the soil profile they will ask. So, you can see the big rocks are broken down into smaller particles to form soil. So, now we are going to see you can see the layers of the soil. So, some part of the roots present in the top soil as it contains humus, air, water, and also in the subsoil we can see little amount of roots that is present as it contains little amount of water and humus, and also smaller pieces of rocks, and below that this is your bedrocks. Bedrocks is full of large pieces of rocks. Here there is no water, no air or no humus is present. So, this is about your soil profile. So, in the top soil we can have humus, clay, sand, air, water, humus. In the subsoil, smaller pieces of rocks and little water and humus, and this is your subsoil and this is your bedrocks. So, bedrocks is full of rocks. Here there is no root here. You can see here there is no root because there is no air, no water or no humus is present here. So, that is why the plants will not grow till the bedrocks. So, this is your layers of the soil. So, you have in your 5 mark question, so you have to explain about the 3 layers, topsoil, subsoil and bedrocks, and you have a separate Roman for diagram. So, you have to draw the soil profile diagram clearly like this, making a box like this, and you can place the plants. So, you have to draw the plants and the roots and the rocks like this. So, this is your diagram also for your 5th lesson. So, after you watch the video, below the description you can see a Google Drive link. You just click the Google Drive link so that you can get the lesson related subject material, question bank and self assessment. So, this is your subject material. So, your copy of your subject material. So, you will have subject material like choose the correct answer and then fill in the blanks, match it and true or false. So, here we have added the creative question also. So, some question will not be in your book bag. So, it will be added as a creative question. For example, formation of 1 inch of topsoil takes around dash years. So, how many years? So, you have to write the maximum year, right. So, here they have given 100, 500, 20, 50. So, the formation of 1 inch of topsoil takes about 500 years. So, it takes nearly 500 years to form 1 inch of soil. So, like that we have added the creative questions. So, this you can also see the match the following. So, match the following is not given in your book. So, it is also added as a creative question for you. So, you have to understand the match it and you have to write the correct answer, and also your pick the odd one. So, pick the odd one also it is not given in your book, that is also asked as a creative question. So, by seeing the words you have to understand. For example, gravel, sand, clay, sand. So, now I told you what are the components of the soil. The soil contains gravel, sand, clay, air, water, humus, like that. So, you have to find out the odd one. So, from that the odd one is sand. the same way air, water, microorganisms, animals. So, animals live inside the soil, but we cannot see animals always present like air, water, microorganisms. So, that is why the odd one is animals. So, likewise you have name the following and give example. So, name the following is also asked as a give examples. So, give example is also a creative question. So, that is given to you, and then your 2 marks. So, your 2 marks, what is weathering? I have just explained you, right. So, what is weathering and what is soil is made up of. So, these are all the questions that is asked in the 2 marks, and you have a 5 mark. So, as I said already, now I explained about the 5 mark only, right. So, this is your 5 mark and the diagram. So, soil profile diagram. So, you have to draw neatly. After you draw, you have to use your color pencil or crayons and differentiate the layers of the soil. So, like this we have given the subject material, and in your question bank you can see it will not be given in the. So, now the answers is given in the red color, right, but in the question bank the answer will not be given. So, you have to write the answers. The same way in your self assessment. So, in the self assessment, the same way how the question bank is asked, the same way the self assessment is also asked for 50 marks. So, question bank is almost your lesson fully it will be asked, but self assessment is covers your 50 marks. So, you have to write test for 50 marks. So, accordingly we have given the questions in your self assessment. So, in your self assessment also you will not have answers, you will have only questions. So, using the question using your self assessment as a question paper, you have to do the self assessment and send us the marks or the photocopies of your self assessment to our WhatsApp group, right. So, I think you have understood today about soil and what are the components of the soil, how the soil is formed and what is weathering, and also you learnt about the soil profile, what are the layers of the soil and its components, right. So, hope you enjoyed this session. So, I will meet you with the next session with interesting topic. Thank you. Have a good day.